Hey, everybody, it is Radley Valentine, and I am here with your energetic weather report for March 5th through March 11th. And my dear friend Mooney Syed is going to chat up the cards with me today. So, hi, Mooney.
Hello, Rad. I'm super excited. It's my first time ever being present for an energetic weather report. I'm super excited.
You need to get out more.
I don't want to. Just kidding.
Okay. All right. So today I felt drawn to use Angel Wisdom Tarot cards. However, as many of you know, I tend to use for your personal Archangel of the week, the major arcana cards from Angel Tarot cards and Archangel Power Tarot cards. So what I want you to do, whether you are watching or listening, you may be watching this on YouTube or you may be listening to this on mindbodyspirit.fm. And whichever one you're doing, I just want you to tune into the cards. It doesn't matter that you can't see them. I'll describe them for you and tell you about them. But there are 4 cards here. So intuitively, are you drawn to card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, or card number 4? All right. So I've got the cards pulled from Angel Wisdom Tarot cards, and the first card in this 3-card reading is 8 of Earth. 8 of Earth. And if you are listening, this is a young man who is standing there buying a coin from a young woman who is a craftsman, and she has made these coins out of wood. And the card says, learning all you can about a subject or career, going back to school, taking a seminar, or finding a mentor. Attention to detail, skilled work that you love, skilled work that you love. The next card is 10 of Water, 10 of Cups if you're traditional. And so this is a beautiful family with 10 cups floating in the sky. Well, actually, there are 8 floating in the sky and 4 on the ground. It's a woman and a man and their 2 children in their home. And it's a very, very loving picture. And 10 of Water says, a happy marriage, happily ever after, emotional contentment, a loving relationship with your children, raising children wisely and successfully, people you can trust. Now, we're going to put all of this together in just a moment. The last card is the High Priestess. And here we have Archangel Haniel sitting on a throne, eating a pomegranate while reading through a magical book. And her dress is turning into water beneath her. And the card says, meditate and turn inward to discover your soul's true desire. This is not the time for action. Develop your intuitive gifts and trust the wisdom you receive. Now, with any card reading, one of the things that we are drawn to do is to look at the cards and decide whether or not we are drawn to the words, the meanings, or both. For me, what this card is talking about is getting an education on something you love, doing something you love, finding a mentor, doing whatever it takes to learn how to have a skill set. The next card to me is about having a loving, supporting community to support you. This card is not just about blood family, it's about families of choice. It's about people that you support yourself through or around you to support yourself. And here we have the High Priestess. She is sitting on her throne, helping people to develop their spiritual gifts. That's what Haniel does. She helps people develop their spiritual gifts. How does that sound, Mooney?
I mean, I'm going to have to say that I have my first confirmed case of angel bumps. Because this is exactly the mode that we're entering. This is the mode, this is the vibe of where we're headed with the Radley Valentine School, with the work that's happening out there, with the way the world is approaching spirituality, and the opportunity that's out there for so many people to start taking their gifts and sharing them with the world in a whole new way, but being able to create a business out of it, to make money doing what they love, to have support and find a community of people who are all on a similar path, maybe a little bit further ahead, maybe a little bit behind, that you can feel like you're a part of, whether it's in real life where you can physically reach out and touch them, or online, which we're finding can sometimes be even more powerful than physically being in a space with somebody else. The verdict's still out, but I think that, you know, what we're looking at in this energetic weather report is hopefully aligning those questions for you. Like if you've been thinking about, should I do this? Should this be something I do with my life? Is this my mission? Is this my passion? Is this my purpose? You know, that this reading to me, if I was going to interpret it, is a one big heck yes. I'm
Heck
editing
yes.
myself so I don't have to bleep it out. Heck yes. This is your time to be stepping into that spotlight and sharing your gifts and doing what you love. And again, also finding a way to bring abundance, to bring, you know, resources, to bring attention, bring healing, bring focus to yourself so that you can help other people do the same. That to me is absolutely where we're at.
Absolutely where we're at. You're right.
Yep.
You know, and it's like video courses do, you know, I don't know if you know this, Mooney, you probably have suspected that if when we do classes on Zoom, I am always in gallery view, always. I do not want to just see Radley talking. That makes me insane. I want to see all the faces. So I'm always in gallery view so that I can see all the faces and I can see my students and I can see Kevin and that he's totally with me, or that Deborah is like, yes, I understand, or someone else is looking at me inquisitively and I'm like, okay, they don't get it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if they don't get it, someone else doesn't get it. You don't have to call them out. They don't need to be embarrassed. You just say it, fix it, envelop it. And so with video courses, it's true. It's like, you don't have to like pack your bags. You don't have to like, you know, fly somewhere, and you don't have to do all of that. I can make an argument for why you would, but in these weird times, it's like video courses can be really helpful to people about in ways in which to expand their life and their world in ways in which they really want to do, but don't think they can.
Yeah. And it gives you that little safe bubble of being kind of inside your little box at home in your jammies. Even though, like, you know, I've got my jammy pants on, I'm going to fully admit, because it's easier to do that way and it feels good. I also, when you're talking about that, I laugh because two things. Number one, nobody ever pick your nose then while you're on a Radley's class, because he's going to see you do it. Then secondly, that it does confirm something for me, that when you're teaching specifically online, it's like the whole class is a reading. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that we sometimes will plan things out, but for the most part, you just kind of do your thing and it goes in the direction it needs to based on the kind of magic of the people who are there. So I think that there's a thing happening now where people are signing up for tons of courses or signing up for classes or webinars or this or that, and then they just like don't show up. And so I would encourage everybody that bubble we create when we have these classes, it's made even better by your presence. It's made even more magical by you being there and being engaged. And I know that there's like, I'm guilty of this, multitasking when you're trying to focus and learn something like this. Try to not multitask, try to give, you know, all of your energy to what's happening on the screen, because you're only going to get that much more back out of it. So, you know, we put on some pretty great classes, but again, a lot of the energy that comes in and out of that is from the people who've signed up and show up to the class. So I just want to, you know, public service announcement for everybody. If you're signing up for any of the stuff that we're working on, please show up live. We'd love to see you. And like I said, each class is like getting a group reading because it's all tailored exactly to the energy that you're bringing.
Right,
there.
exactly.
Public service announcement over.
Okay. So let's do some personal archangels of the week.
Yes.
If you were drawn to card number 1, and this happens a lot. Oh, this is yours. The High Priestess again. So once again, we have the High Priestess, powerful psychic insights, reflection and meditation that provides valuable information. Be at peace. Archangel Haniel, the grace of God, is the archangel who helps us with our psychic gifts. Next up, the Chariot with Archangel Metatron. Archangel Metatron. The card says an important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. Ooh. Right in line with what we're talking about. Archangel Metatron is the archangel of focus and grounding, protection of sensitive children, but most importantly, time warping. Let's do the time warp again.
We're dancing. You can't see it on the podcast.
We can't see it, but we're dancing. Yeah. The next archangel is the Magician. The Magician. And this is Archangel Raziel. Raziel, you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. Raziel is said to sit at the throne of God, writing down everything that the divine says. And therefore, he is this magical being that helps us to understand esoteric information. And finally, everybody's favorite, Archangel Michael on the wheel. And the card says, a time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward, fortune is on your side. So what do we have? Archangel Michael, the archangel of safety and protection, feeling safe, but also the archangel of life purpose. So the angels have really lined up a bunch of archangels for us in the personal archangel of the week that can really help us do our 8 of earth, our 10 of water, and our high priestess work this week, the week of March the 5th through the 11th. Now, Mooney, where do they go to find out more?
Well, first, I'm sorry, I have to say that I picked number 1, but I feel like they were all for me, and I can't be the only person that feels that way.
I know you aren't. People say that.
but what it's affirming for me is exactly what we've been talking about. The one specifically was right before we recorded this. I was saying, hey, we can't record yet because there's a city hall building that I think was an old church, but it has a church bell tower, and it rings every hour on the hour, and it's become this kind of this moment for me to breathe and close my eyes and just kind of look around and be grateful for everything that's around me, but also tune in and focus, and also all these things that we've been talking about. So I just want to encourage everybody to find like that little thing, whether it's an alarm or it's something else. I'm like card number one this week. So all the other cards, sorry if you picked that one. Number 1's the best one for me, and it's best for everybody else. And I'm a big fan of it. But I just want to, am I allowed to have favorites in these cards? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah,
or did I just break the rules? All right.
Of course.
Number 1 was my favorite. Let's see what happens next time. But I would just encourage all of you to like make this week about that. Like whichever card you picked, like think about that card through the week as you're supposed to do. Because I think sometimes people don't know, like, how do they take this information, Rad, and like fold it into their daily life? What would you recommend? Like, depending on which card you picked and what the message was, how do I like make that part of my week so that it actually kind of pulls me through or pulls me out of or pushes me into or opens things up for me in a way that I wouldn't necessarily have seen it before?
Well, first of all, if you happen to have any of my cards, I would suggest that you pull that card out of your deck and leave it on your desk, either at work or at home, where you're going to see it on a regular basis to remind you as you went through the day, so that it was like, oh, today was really magical. I'm really getting that Raziel vibe. Or today I'm really excited about my life purpose. Help me with this, Michael. And so that you kind of keep it in mind all week long. I also think that, pull a Mooney, stop what you're doing and breathe a minute, just breathe and just bring in that energy and go, I am protected by Archangel Michael. I am safe. I am protected. I am loved. I am grateful. And just sit in that for a minute, reground yourself, maybe with Metatron. You're allowed to use more than one Archangel, by the way. Use them all if you want. If you don't have one of my decks, you can Google my decks. You could Google the High Priestess from Archangel Power Tarot cards, and the image will probably come up, and you can make it your phone screen, your lock screen. They'll remind you.
But just bring this with you throughout the week, I guess, is my point. So I'm glad I was able to say that. I'm really grateful to be here. And I'm even more grateful that Radley Valentine and I are going to be getting together to teach a 3-part series on why you should launch your tarot, your angel, your oracle, your everything in between, your spiritual business right now, and why this is the perfect time for you to do it. So if you can join us over at radleyvalentine.com/biz, you'll find all the details you need, biz, B-I-Z. And we're going to see you very soon.
Right. All right, folks. See you next week.